Hey there, my name is Jade and welcome to my space. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you me making my 2024 spooky season watch list. In 2020, I started my own personal tradition of watching a whole bunch of horror movies and spooky movies in the month of October. I am not the biggest horror girly, I'm not gonna sit here in front, but because it is a very popular movie genre, over the last few years I've been trying to get more and more into it, as well as using my spooky season watch list as my own way of celebrating Halloween. Decorating my room all spooky and watching a bunch of horror movies is just about as far as it goes when it comes to me celebrating Halloween as an adult. Alright, you guys, let's get into it. So the first thing that I need to do is write out spooky season and then watch list. So first I'm going to go in with green and purple as the colors I'm going to use for my lettering. I know orange and black and white are more traditional in terms of Halloween colors, but green and purple are definitely Halloween colors too. I feel like they were more prominent when I was a kid, but yeah, so I'm going to be using green and purple. So here are all of the washi tapes that I pulled to decorate these spreads with. So this one and this one are from Michaels and the rest are from Etsy. Various Etsy sellers. But I think I'm gonna go with this one first. Very tried and true. Here's what it looks like if you can tell. There's some foiling, but they're like little bug x-rays. So that is going to go across here, like so. And then I got this washi tape from Michaels a couple years ago, so I don't even, well, not even a couple years ago, quite a while ago. It's been, I've had this pre-COVID, maybe 2016, 2017. I've had this washi tape for a long time. So I don't know if you can even buy it anymore. I know I saw it again one year, maybe 2, 3 years ago maybe. But again, that's a fat maybe. Here's the next washi tape. If you've seen Nightmare Before Christmas, then you'll probably recognize these little canisters. And then here's another one from Etsy, just some Halloween candy. Alrighty, you guys, next I'm going to take all of the movie posters that I printed out and arrange them, and I thought I would share with you which ones I picked and why. So I'm gonna go ahead and arrange the first spread. When I do my spooky season watch list, I like to have a good mix of like children's movies that are like just Halloweeny and festive to like stuff that's like actually horror, just to kind of have like a good mix, but also to like break it up a little. I don't really like want to spend the entire month in like pure terror, you know what I mean? So we'll start with the Tamer movies. The first one is Coraline. This year is the 15-year anniversary of Coraline, and I really wanted to get tickets to go see Coraline in LA at the Hollywood Cemetery, but unfortunately your girl fumbled the bag on that part, so I wasn't able to get tickets. But Coraline is one of my favorite movies, and I opted for not going to see it in theaters this year because I had just bought the Steelbook Blu-ray edition of it. I'll just probably end up watching that. The next one we have is Paranorman. This is also a Leica film. I haven't seen Paranorman since it came out, so I don't really remember much about it. But with my spooky season spreads, I like to start out with like the more tame movies. In terms of the spread, I'll watch the movies like in whatever order I feel like, because I watch everything depending on mood, but I like to arrange them by like the kids movies in the front and then the scary stuff in the back. So the next one that I just put down was Monster House. I also haven't seen that in a good couple of years, but I think that's a good like fun Halloweeny staple for like all kids. Next, I'm gonna put down Beetlejuice. I saw Beetlejuice for the first time in 2020 at a drive-in movie theater. And I think I went for my birthday that year with my dad, which was really cool. Me and my dad do a lot of stuff together because he's more down to do stuff like that. But I really enjoyed it. It was a really good movie. However, I don't remember much of it, so that's why it's on this list. And then I have Beetlejuice, which is the sequel to Beetlejuice. That just came out, and I was like, you know what? I really like Jenna Ortega, and it'd be nice to go out and see it, you know? And I feel like this sequel is doing much better than the Hocus Pocus sequel. So the next movie I have is Hocus Pocus, and I only have Hocus Pocus. I have not seen Hocus Pocus 2, and I have no desire to, and I don't think I ever will watch the sequel, but I love Hocus Pocus. It's one of my all-time favorite like Halloween movies. Next we have Phantom of the Megaplex. This is a Disney Channel original movie, and I've never seen it, and they never really played it when I was growing up. Like I knew about its existence, but I want to say they stopped showing Phantom of the Megaplex very early on in my childhood watching Disney Channel. Next we have Casper. I haven't seen Casper in a very long time either. Like maybe since I was a kid. So the only part of Casper that I remember is when the main character like kisses Casper. So that's literally all I remember. Next we have Lisa Frankenstein. This movie is written and directed by the person who did Jennifer's Body, which is the main reason why I want to see it, because from what I can tell, the girl who made Jennifer's Body hasn't made anything else since, and so it'd be nice to like see like what their new like movie is. But also Jennifer's Body is one of my favorite movies like ever. So I'm hoping that like Lisa Frankenstein, I don't want it to be like similar to Jennifer's Body. That's not what I'm looking for, and I know it's not going to be, but I want it to be like as entertaining at least. And then we have The Craft. I have never seen The Craft. Partially because it was just never like shown when I was growing up. Like maybe on ABC Family, if you remember that, or Freeform, which it's now called. But yeah, I've never like had the opportunity to watch it, so I just never did. So I'm going to like finally just watch it. The next movie that we have is Van Helsing. Van Helsing is another one of my all-time favorite movies. I've seen this movie like a million times. Like I saw this movie in theaters with my mom as a child, and I still remember that memory to this day. And I want to say I was maybe like 6 or 7 when this movie came out, and I've seen it like a million times since then. And I don't know, I just love vampires. I think they're a very like underrated subgenre in horror, if that makes sense. But yeah, I love Van Helsing. It's one of my favorite movies ever. And then lastly, we have Abigail. This was a vampire movie that came out this year, I think, and I forgot that it had came out, so I didn't get to see it in theaters, but I'm gonna take the time to watch it now. So next side, I'm gonna put all of my trilogies on this side. Okay, so I'm gonna do this side first. But then we have Midsummer and Hereditary, and I put these on my list because I've already seen them. But in my previous movie journal, I made a spread for Hereditary, and I also made a spread for Midsummer. But it's not so much that I forget Hereditary and I forget Midsummer, it's more so I forget how I felt when I watched them, and like what my true thoughts were. So I've decided to take the time to rewatch them, and when I rewatch them, I'll probably watch them and fill out these spreads while I do that, which is something that I do a lot. When I make like a spread like this, I usually end up rewatching the movie while I'm writing about the movie, unless like my feelings were that strong and I remember it like that deeply. I'll end up rewatching the movie while I make the spread so that way I can like have those emotions fresh, you know? But I really enjoyed Midsummer and Hereditary. They weren't as scary as I thought that they were going to be, because I feel like the internet definitely like overhyped how scary they would be. And I would like to argue that Midsummer and Hereditary are more fucked up than they are. And there's a very big difference between like those two, I guess, emotions or whatever. I would say Midsummer and Hereditary are more like movies that are kind of just fucked up instead of them being like super scary, you know what I mean? Next, we have a movie called You're Next. It is one of my favorite slasher movies. Watched this for the first time a few years ago, like on Hulu or something, and just absolutely had a blast. I thought it was like, this might sound really weird, but I did think the movie was a lot of fun to watch. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. You kind of just have to like watch You're Next to see if it's like really your vibe, and see if you like enjoy slasher movies like that. Next, we have Smile and Smile 2. I did not know that they were making a Smile 2 until maybe like a week or two ago, and it comes out on October 18th, and I'm really excited. I really enjoyed Smile. Controversial, I know, but I thought that like it was such a good narrative on mental health and like depression, which is very, I don't know if that's bizarre to take away from a horror movie, but I feel like a lot of like horror movies nowadays are like using like mental illness and are showcasing how difficult mental illness is, if that makes sense. Because I feel like Smile was a very good illustration of like depression and how like it's all consuming. And I don't know if you guys have seen that movie Talk to Me. I'll put the movie poster on the screen. But I think it came out like last year or the year before. And it was that movie of like the people messing around with that like possessed hand. I thought that movie was such a good illustration of like grief, you know? And yeah, I'm just excited to see what they do with Smile 2 and see if they continue the whole like mental health is not a joke and like mental illness is very debilitating. So we'll see. It does look a little corny, but I'm okay with that. I feel like you could argue that like Smile was also incredibly corny, but I loved it. It was a great movie. Next, we have A Note, which is by Jordan Peele. I liked Get Out. I thought Us was okay, and I just never got around to seeing Nope, so I'm doing that now. And then right now, I am putting down the Scream trilogy. I'm only doing Scream 1, 2, and 3. I know there's technically 6 Scream movies out, but I'm doing the first 3 because I have a Blu-ray set of all 3 movies that I got from Target a couple years ago. But I've seen Scream, the first one, like a good 2 or 3 times now, and I just never took the time to finally watch the second and the third one. So I'm just doing that now. I want to like actually get it out the way this year. But I will say I am interested to see how to see what they do with like Scream 2 and Scream 3 and how like it eventually evolves into like 6 movies, because Scream is not like a complex like movie. It's kind of like a fun little slasher in my opinion, but it has like a lot of like interesting commentary on like what it is to like be a woman and stuff. And there's like other commentary there's other like commentary intermixed throughout, but I'm just interested to see like what they do and how they evolve, like Ghostface and like the storylines and stuff. And yeah, next I have X, Pearl, and Maxine. I deliberately waited to watch this trilogy when I found out it was going to be a trilogy. I know a lot of people did not like Maxine and that it was very different from X and Pearl, and a lot less like horror related, but I'm interested. I believe X and Pearl are like slashers. So, and Pearl has been like TikTok soundbited to death. I don't know. But like there's been a lot of like TikTok sounds made from this movie, so it'd be nice to like finally watch it, you know? And then Maxine. Maxine kind of gives me the vibe of this one horror movie that I will have to put the movie poster for because I don't remember the name of it. But it's with Elle Fanning, and she's like a model, and she goes to LA to try to become like a big model. And I'm not gonna spoil it, but that movie's really fucked up. And when I saw the trailer for Maxine, it reminded me a lot of like that movie. So hopefully it has similar vibes, but at the same time, I'm not going to like expect too much. And then lastly, we have this spread as well as Hellraiser. That's very big. But I'm gonna put down Hellraiser first. The reason why this one is so big is because for what I call my grand finale on Halloween, I'm going to watch Hellraiser. I'll probably end up watching like a couple other movies that day too, but this will be like the final movie that I save to watch for like my spooky season watch list. So this was going to be my grand finale like a couple years ago. I just never ended up making that spread, and yeah, so now I'm gonna use it this year. And to be honest with you, I don't remember what this movie's about, so I'm truly going in blind, but hopefully it's good. Next we have I Saw the TV Glow. I heard that it's scary, but then found out that it's like PG-13, so it's like scary but not really scary, you know what I mean? So I'm not expecting too much, but I've also seen a lot of people say that it's like a really good commentary on like transgender identities and whatnot. So I'm intrigued. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm intrigued because I did see the trailer, and all I remember was that it was very ominous, and I couldn't figure out what the movie was going to be about, which is a good thing when it comes to trailers. So yeah, I'm just gonna go in blind and hopefully enjoy it. Next I have Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person. It's a vampire movie, and that's all I remember. I believe it came out last year, and I remembered that it had came out last year when I was making my list of movies. And it says it's supposed to be like a horror comedy, but when I watched the trailer, it really didn't give comedy vibes. But then again, when I watched the trailer, that was like maybe a year ago, so I really don't remember anything. And honestly, I don't even know if this movie came out last year or not. I just remember that it's like fairly recent. Next we have A Girl Walks Alone at Night. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. I also don't remember what this is about, but I do know that it involves vampires, and that's enough for me. And then next we have Blade. Just the first one. When I started this tradition back in 2020, I watched all 3 Blade movies, and to be quite honest with you guys, Blade, the first one, is the only one that's actually worth watching, and which makes sense because it's my favorite of the 3, and it's always been my favorite like ever since I was a kid. But like rewatching like all 3 of them back to back, it's really like the difference between Blade and Blade 2 and Blade Trinity, very stark, very weird, and the first one just is the right one. Next we have Misery. I more so am watching this because I know it's like a cult classic movie. It's based on a Stephen King novel, and I know my mom has seen this movie like a good couple times too, and I know that she likes it, so. But it's more of like a thriller, I would say, than maybe like a horror. But at the same time, I've only seen like clips of it growing up, so I don't really know. And then the last movie that we have is Spree. I believe this is also a slasher. There's a lot of slashers this year in my watch list, but that's okay. I like a good slasher movie. And that's another thing too that I like to do. I like to make sure that there's like not only a good mix of like stuff that's tame and then like stuff that's like actually scary, but I also like to have like a good mix of like subgenres. So you got a lot of slashers, you got an alien movie, then you have like a lot of vampire movies. So I like to make sure that there's a lot of variety all the way around when I'm making this list. There's no zombie movies this year, which I'm kind of sad about, but I'll probably end up watching Train to Busan again anyway, so who knows. So that is full watch list, but now it's time to decorate a bit. Alright. Going to take this monster washi and put that here. I'm gonna take some more of this Halloween washi and put it at the tops of each movie poster, like so. Something that I want to do also this month is to watch season 2 of Interview with a Vampire because I really enjoyed season 1 and I'm intrigued to see like what they did with season 2. And I'll probably end up rewatching season 1 to be honest, because I thought season 1 was really good. And if you're wondering why I left like spaces, it's because I like to write little mini reviews under each movie poster. I feel like I should have said that sooner. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll pick a movie, I'll write like what order I watched it in. So like let's say this is number 1 and then this is number 2 and then that was like number 3, right? I'll write the number order that I watched each movie in and then I'll give like my star rating and then I will give like a little review at the bottom. And that space doesn't look like it's a lot of space, but it's decent enough for the like little blurbs that I like to write down. The only one that doesn't really have like that space is Hellraiser. And that's fine with me because I believe what I did the last couple of times that I did my spooky season watch list, I made like a dedicated spread to my grand finale. So I'll probably end up making like a full spread for Hellraiser as well. I will say I think the movies that I'm most excited to watch would probably be Paranorman, The Craft, to finally like actually watch it, Van Helsing because it's forever a favorite. Probably the X trilogy, X, Pearl, and Maxine, just to finally say that I did watch it. And honestly, all of them. I'm excited to watch all of them. I think this year I got like a really good mix of not only like movies that I have seen but haven't seen, but also like a good different like mix of different subgenres as well. So yeah, love that. And so now I'm just gonna go in with like some tapes and stuff, tapes and stickers, and just decorate like these spreads. Alrighty, you guys, that is it. That is my full spooky season watch list and spreads. I've never put stickers in the middle like this, but I don't think they're gonna be like in the way or annoying. But yeah, I really like how this year's spreads turned out. I also think that this is going to be a very good movie marathon. I think I picked a really good mix of movies, so I'm excited to get cracking into this. And again, I apologize for not posting this sooner. And yeah, that is it for this video. Hope that you guys enjoyed. I will catch you in the next one. Stay gold.